up, class? Welcome to Intermediate Macroeconomics. Today we're going to be discussing the Keynesian model, or it's also known as the ISLM model. So this model looks more at the short run, and then it uses the aggregate supply and aggregate demand to merge into the long run and show what happens. So in the short run, prices are sticky, which means it takes time for the wages and prices to change. Prices now adjust in the long run and are sticky or in the same place in the short run. So before we had the classical model. So we saw in the classical model that if the money supply increases, then the prices will increase and there would be no change in GDP. Or what we have seen is the neutrality postulate. So MV equals PY. If money supply increases, the prices will increase, but there will be no change in GDP or wages. Real wages, that is. We also saw in the classical model that if investment decreases, then the prices will automatically decrease, and there will be no real changes there either. So what happens in the classical model is we're allowed to change prices in the short run to adjust to what the economy is doing. But here in the Keynesian model, prices cannot initially adjust. So going back to the first example, if prices are sticky in the MV equals PY equation, then we will have to see GDP changing. So now money is no longer neutral. A change in stock of money can impact the variables beyond nominal rates. The second example, so if we see a decrease in investment and then as well as a decrease in the prices, well, we're going to just have the economy go into a depression. That's what the Keynesian model thinks. So what are the options for the Keynesian model? Well, the first, we could wait for those prices to adjust, but that could take a long time. Remember, in the long run, we're all dead, as Keynes would say. The second option is to use Keynesian stabilization policies. So the two main policies he has advocated for was a change in the money supply, increase M, or a change in government spending, generally increase G. So there's a few things you should know about the basic history of John Maynard Keynes. He studied under Alfred Marshall and Arthur Pigou, and in the 1930s, the Great Depression hit, and there was a 25% unemployment. Now, the classical model said that should never have happened. We shouldn't have seen employment that large. But Keynes knew something must have been wrong with the classical model. And in 1936, he published the General Theory of Employment, Interest, and Money, which was the book that pushed off another economist named John Hicks. He wrote a paper that offered the mathematical interpretation of Keynes's theory. This has become known as the ISLM model. IS meaning investment and savings, and this captures the goods market. And then LM is liquidity and money, and this captures the money market. We put these two markets together and we can create the ISLM model that represents what happens in the economy. From there, we're going to look at the aggregate supply, aggregate demand, and long-run aggregate supply to see what happens in the long run to prices when prices are allowed to adjust. So what I would like you to take away from this video is that the classical model, prices could adjust right away in the short run. But here in the Keynes model, or the ISLM model, prices are sticky in the short run. So we have to look at the short run separate from the long run. And we'll be doing that throughout the next few weeks. Let me know if you have any questions.